Good evening, my weary academics, and welcome to History to Sleep By, where we nerd out and conk out. If you enjoy calm, narrated history documentaries, or just need a reliable friend to help with restless nights, please subscribe, leave a like, and maybe share a comment about what's happening in your life. That way, you'll always find your way back to us. Now, let's begin tonight's journey. In the early morning hours of May 10th, 1775, the world was quiet and still. The lush, green forests around Lake Champlain whispered in the gentle breeze. Nature seemed unaware of the human drama about to unfold within its embrace. Fort Ticonderoga, a grand stone fortress, stood silently on the western shore of the lake. Its walls, though strong and imposing, were enveloped in the calm of the night. This fort had seen much in its time. Built by the French in 1755 during the French and Indian War, it had been a strategic point of contention. Now, it lay in the hands of the British. But on this particular morning, it was the Americans who approached with quiet determination. A group of men, led by Ethan Allen and Benedict Arnold, moved silently through the early dawn mist. Their mission was clear: capture the fort and its valuable artillery for the cause of American independence. Ethan Allen was a man of the frontier. Tall and commanding, he was known for his leadership of the Green Mountain Boys. This was a militia group from what is now Vermont. Arnold, on the other hand, was an ambitious officer from Connecticut. Together, they formed an unlikely partnership, united by a common goal. Their men, a band of about 80, were a mix of volunteers and seasoned fighters. They had traveled over rough terrain and crossed the lake under the cover of darkness. As they neared the fort, the air was filled with anticipation. The soldiers moved with practiced stealth, their footsteps muffled by the soft earth. The fort's garrison was small and unsuspecting. Most of the British soldiers were still asleep, unaware of the danger creeping closer. The Americans knew this was their moment. Timing was everything. The element of surprise would be their greatest ally. With the first light of dawn, Allen and Arnold led their men through the fort's gates. The sentries, caught off guard, were quickly subdued. Inside, the Americans moved swiftly, securing key positions. The fort, though formidable in appearance, fell with little resistance. The British were taken aback by the audacity of the attack. Their commander, Captain William Delaplace, was roused from his slumber. He emerged to find himself surrounded by determined American soldiers. Ethan Allen, with his commanding presence, demanded the fort's surrender. His words were firm yet calm. Delaplace, realizing the futility of resistance, agreed. The fort was theirs. The Americans had achieved a significant victory without a single shot fired. It was a triumph that would echo through the colonies. The capture of Fort Ticonderoga was not just a strategic win. It was a morale booster for the fledgling American cause. The fort's artillery, including cannons and other munitions, was a prize beyond measure. These would be transported to Boston, aiding the Continental Army in its siege against the British. The victory at Ticonderoga highlighted the resourcefulness and determination of the American forces. It demonstrated that the colonists were capable of challenging the might of the British Empire. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the fort's new occupants took stock of their achievement. The air was filled with a sense of quiet satisfaction. The soldiers, though tired from their night's exertions, were buoyed by their success. They had struck a blow for independence, one that would resonate far beyond the walls of this ancient fort. In the days that followed, the news of Ticonderoga's capture spread like wildfire. It reached the ears of the Continental Congress, lifting spirits and strengthening resolve. The fort, once a symbol of British power, now stood as a testament to American ingenuity and courage. The events of that May morning were but one chapter in the long and arduous struggle for independence. Yet they served as a reminder of what could be achieved with unity and determination. The capture of Fort Ticonderoga was a moment of hope and inspiration. It was a story of courage in the face of daunting odds. As the day drew to a close, the calm of the forest returned. The lake, shimmering under the setting sun, whispered secrets of battles won and lost. The fort, now a silent sentinel, watched over the land. It stood as a symbol of the past and a beacon for the future. And so, as night fell once more, the world settled into a peaceful slumber, cradled in the arms of history. As the echoes of that fateful day faded into the annals of history, the landscape around Fort Ticonderoga remained unchanged. The trees, tall and steadfast, continued their silent vigil over the land. The waters of Lake Champlain lapped gently against the shore, a rhythmic lullaby that had soothed generations. The stars began to twinkle in the vast sky above, casting a gentle glow over the fort's ancient stones. It was a scene of tranquility, a stark contrast to the fervor and chaos that had unfolded just hours before. The soldiers, weary from their morning exploits, gathered around small fires. Their faces, illuminated by the flickering flames, bore expressions of both relief and contemplation. They spoke in hushed tones, their voices blending with the nocturnal symphony of crickets and rustling leaves. Each man carried with him the weight of the day's events, a mixture of pride and uncertainty for what lay ahead. Yet, in that moment, they were united by a shared sense of purpose and destiny. As the night deepened, the fort's new occupants began to explore their surroundings. The walls, though weathered by time, stood firm and imposing. They traced the grooves and marks left by battles long past, feeling a connection to those who had come before. The air was thick with history, each stone a witness to the passage of time. It was as if the fort itself breathed, whispering stories of valor and sacrifice to those who cared to listen. In the distance, the silhouette of the Adirondack Mountains loomed, a dark and mysterious presence against the starlit sky. These ancient peaks had seen the rise and fall of many, their secrets hidden within their rugged folds. The soldiers, now guardians of this strategic stronghold, felt the weight of responsibility upon their shoulders. They knew the significance of their victory, yet they also understood the challenges that lay ahead. The road to independence was fraught with peril, and this triumph was but a single step on a long and arduous journey. As the hours passed, the fires dwindled and the men drifted into a fitful sleep. Dreams of home and family intertwined with visions of future battles and the hope of freedom. The night, ever watchful, wrapped them in its embrace, offering solace and rest. The fort, now a bastion of American resolve, stood silent and resolute, its presence a testament to the courage of those who dared to dream of a new world. The dawn arrived with gentle hues of pink and gold, painting the sky with promises of a new day. The first light of morning revealed a landscape transformed by the soft glow of the sun. The forest, once shrouded in darkness, came alive with the songs of birds greeting the day. The lake mirrored the heavens above, its surface a tapestry of light and color. The fort, bathed in the warmth of the rising sun, seemed to awaken, ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring. As the soldiers stirred from their slumber, the air buzzed with a renewed energy. They gathered once more, their spirits buoyed by the promise of a new beginning. The events of the previous day had forged a bond among them, a camaraderie born of shared struggle and triumph. They were no longer just individuals, but a collective force, united in their quest for independence. The fort, now firmly in their hands, offered both protection and opportunity. It was a strategic vantage point, a gateway to the north and a barrier to those who would oppose them. The soldiers understood the importance of their position, and they were determined to hold it against any who might challenge their claim. The future was uncertain, but their resolve was unwavering. As the day unfolded, plans were made and strategies discussed. The men, though still weary, were filled with a sense of purpose. They knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but they were ready to face whatever trials awaited them. The capture of Fort Ticonderoga was a victory, but it was also a beginning, a new chapter in the story of a nation yet to be born. And so, as the sun climbed higher in the sky, the fort stood as a beacon of hope and determination. It was a symbol of what could be achieved through unity and courage. The soldiers, their hearts full of dreams and aspirations, looked to the future with a sense of possibility. The journey would be long, but they were prepared to walk it together, hand in hand, towards the dawn of a new era. As the day wore on, the men busied themselves with the tasks at hand. They gathered supplies, fortified their positions, and tended to the wounded. The air was filled with the sounds of hammers and saws, mingling with the calls of sentries and the occasional laughter that broke through the solemnity. Each man knew his role, and each task was a step toward securing their hard-won prize. The fort, once a stronghold of the British, now bore the marks of its new occupants. Flags of the nascent cause fluttered in the breeze, a testament to their resolve. In the quiet corners of the fort, conversations turned to loved ones left behind, to farms and families that waited in distant towns and villages. Letters were penned, words carefully chosen to convey both the triumph and the longing that filled their hearts. These missives, carried by couriers through the wilderness, would bridge the miles between them and those they cherished. The men spoke of the future, of dreams that seemed almost tangible in the light of their recent success. Yet, amidst the hope, there was an understanding of the challenges that lay ahead. The leadership, too, was acutely aware of the delicate balance they had to maintain. Plans were drawn, maps studied, and intelligence gathered. The capture of the fort was only a piece of the larger puzzle. They needed to anticipate the movements of their adversaries, to prepare for the inevitable response. The British, though caught off guard, would not remain idle for long. The commanders knew that their victory could provoke a swift and decisive reaction. They needed to be ready, to fortify their defenses and to rally their forces. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the landscape, the fort took on a different hue. The golden light softened the harsh outlines of the stone walls, and the air grew cooler, carrying with it the scent of pine and earth. The men gathered in small groups, sharing rations and stories, their voices a low murmur against the backdrop of the evening. Fires were lit, their flickering light casting a warm glow over the faces of those who sat around them. The camaraderie, forged in the crucible of conflict, was palpable. In the stillness of the night, the fort seemed to breathe, a living entity that held within its walls the hopes and fears of those who had claimed it. Stars appeared, one by one, in the vast expanse above, their light a reminder of the constancy of the heavens amidst the turmoil below. The men took turns keeping watch, their eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. The night was their ally, concealing them from prying eyes and offering a brief respite from the demands of the day. Sleep came fitfully to many, dreams intertwined with memories and visions of what was to come. The fort, though a place of safety for the moment, was also a reminder of the uncertainty that lay ahead. Yet, even in sleep, there was a sense of purpose that infused their rest. They were part of something larger than themselves, a movement that sought to redefine the world they knew. The weight of their responsibility was heavy, but it was borne with a quiet dignity. As dawn approached, the first light of day crept over the horizon, painting the sky with hues of pink and gold. The fort stirred to life once more, the men rising to face the new day with renewed determination. The tasks of the previous day resumed, each action deliberate and purposeful. There was a sense of routine now, a rhythm to their days that brought a measure of comfort amidst the uncertainty. They were building something enduring, a foundation upon which their dreams could stand. The leadership convened again, their discussions focused on the next steps. They spoke of alliances and reinforcements, of the need to secure their position and to expand their influence. The capture of the fort was a statement, a bold declaration of intent. It was a signal to allies and adversaries alike that they were committed to their cause. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but it was also rich with opportunity. They were determined to seize it, to forge a future that was their own. And so, as the day unfolded, the fort continued to stand as a symbol of hope and resilience. It was a testament to the power of unity and the strength of the human spirit. The men, their hearts full of dreams and aspirations, pressed forward with resolve. The journey was indeed long, but they walked it together, hand in hand, towards the dawn of a new era. The story of a nation yet to be born was being written, one day at a time, with courage and conviction. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an amber glow over the fort's sturdy walls, the air was filled with the quiet hum of preparation. Inside, the flickering candlelight revealed faces etched with determination. The men gathered around tables, their voices low but steady. Maps were unrolled and strategies whispered, each word a thread in the fabric of their shared destiny. Outside, the cool evening breeze carried the scent of pine and earth, a reminder of the land they cherished and sought to protect. The fort, though modest in its construction, was a hive of activity. Blacksmiths toiled late into the night, their hammers ringing out a rhythmic chorus that underscored the urgency of their task. Sparks flew like fireflies in the dim light, illuminating the faces of those who worked tirelessly to forge tools and weapons. Every piece of iron, every nail, was a step towards self-reliance, a step away from the chains of dependency. In the barracks, soldiers cleaned their muskets with care, each stroke a ritual of readiness. They spoke of home, of families waiting in distant towns, of the lives they had left behind. Yet, there was no regret in their eyes, only a steadfast commitment to the cause that bound them together. Stories of past battles were shared, lessons learned etched into memories that would guide them in the days to come. The camaraderie was palpable, a silent promise that none would face the trials ahead alone. As night deepened, the fort's gates remained under watchful eyes. Sentinels stood vigilant, their silhouettes stark against the star-studded sky. They scanned the darkness beyond, ever alert to the movements of both friend and foe. The world outside was an uncertain place, but within these walls lay a sanctuary of purpose and resolve. The fort was more than just a fortress. It was a crucible where hopes and fears were forged into a singular will. In the officers' quarters, discussions continued late into the night. Leaders pondered the weight of their decisions, aware that each choice could alter the course of their struggle. They debated tactics and logistics, balancing the immediate needs against long-term goals. The flicker of candles cast shadows on their faces, highlighting the lines of worry and determination. Yet amidst the gravity of their deliberations, there was an undercurrent of optimism. They believed in the righteousness of their cause, in the inevitability of their success. Outside, the night was alive with the sounds of nature. Crickets sang their nightly serenade, a soothing backdrop to the human drama unfolding within the fort's confines. The gentle rustle of leaves in the wind seemed to echo the whispers of history, reminding all who listened that they were part of a larger tapestry. The land was ancient, its stories woven into the very soil beneath their feet. It had seen countless struggles, and it would witness countless more. In the stillness of the night, moments of reflection found their way into the hearts of those gathered. Thoughts turned to the future, to the dreams that had brought them here. They imagined a land where freedom was not just an ideal, but a reality, where their children could grow in peace and prosperity. These visions fueled their resolve, a beacon guiding them through the darkness. As dawn approached, the fort began to stir once more. The first light of day crept over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold. Birds greeted the morning with a chorus of song, their melodies a herald of new beginnings. The men emerged from their quarters, eyes bright with renewed purpose. The chill of the night was replaced by the warmth of the rising sun, a reminder that each day was a gift, an opportunity to advance their cause. The fort, now bathed in morning light, stood as a proud sentinel over the land it protected. Its walls, though weathered, were strong, a testament to the resilience of those who called it home. The bustle of activity resumed, each task a vital part of the larger mission. There was a palpable sense of momentum, a feeling that the tide was turning in their favor. In the days that followed, the fort would continue to be a focal point of their efforts. It was here that plans were made and alliances forged. It was here that the seeds of a nation were sown, nurtured by the sweat and sacrifice of those who dared to dream. The path ahead was still fraught with challenges, but they faced it with courage and conviction. As the sun climbed higher, casting its light over the land, a sense of peace settled over the fort. The men, united in purpose, stood ready to meet whatever lay ahead. The journey was far from over, but they walked it together, hand in hand, towards the dawn of a new era. The story of a nation yet to be born was being written, one day at a time, with courage and conviction. As the days turned into weeks, the fort became a bustling center of activity. The sound of hammers and saws echoed through the air as new barracks were constructed. Tents dotted the landscape, a temporary home for those who had traveled from afar to join the cause. The air was filled with the scent of wood smoke and the earthy aroma of freshly tilled soil. Gardens sprang up, tended by hands that longed for the familiar rhythm of planting and harvest. Here, amidst the chaos of preparation, life found a way to flourish. Each morning, the men gathered for drills, their movements growing more precise with each passing day. The clatter of muskets and the rhythmic stomp of boots became a familiar symphony. Officers walked among the ranks, offering words of encouragement and guidance. The men listened intently, their eyes reflecting both determination and the weight of the task ahead. They knew that their strength lay not just in their numbers, but in their unity. In the evenings, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the fort took on a different character. Fires flickered in the gathering dusk, casting a warm glow on weary faces. Stories were shared, tales of home and loved ones left behind. Laughter mingled with the crackle of the flames, a reminder of the humanity that bound them together. Songs were sung, voices rising in harmony, a testament to the spirit that refused to be broken. Amidst this camaraderie, the leaders of the movement convened in the dim light of the command tent. Maps were spread across the table, marked with lines and symbols that spoke of strategy and hope. Discussions were held in hushed tones, the weight of their decisions palpable in the air. Each choice carried with it the promise of glory or the risk of ruin. Yet they pressed on, driven by a vision of a future where freedom was not just a dream, but a reality. Beyond the fort's walls, the land stretched out in all directions, a vast expanse of untamed wilderness. It was a landscape both beautiful and unforgiving, a reminder of the challenges that lay beyond. Yet it was also a land of opportunity, a canvas upon which they could paint their dreams. The leaders knew that their struggle was not just for the present, but for generations yet to come. It was a legacy they were determined to leave, a gift of hope and possibility. As the days grew shorter and the nights colder, preparations intensified. Supplies were gathered, stockpiled against the uncertainty of the months ahead. Blacksmiths worked tirelessly, forging weapons and tools that would prove vital in the battles to come. Seamstresses and tailors crafted uniforms, each stitch a testament to their dedication. The fort became a hive of industry, each person playing their part in the grand tapestry of their shared endeavor. In the quiet moments, when the world seemed to pause, thoughts turned to those who had come before. The stories of past struggles and triumphs were recounted, a reminder that they were not alone in their quest. The wisdom of the ages echoed in their hearts, a guiding light in the darkness. They drew strength from the knowledge that they stood on the shoulders of giants, that their fight was part of a larger narrative that stretched back through time. And so, with each passing day, the fort grew stronger. It was more than just a collection of buildings and people. It was a symbol of resilience and hope. It stood as a testament to what could be achieved when individuals came together for a common cause. The spirit of the fort was infectious, spreading beyond its walls to the surrounding countryside. It inspired others to join the cause, to lend their voices and their strength to the growing chorus of change. As winter's chill settled over the land, the fort stood firm, a beacon in the night. The men and women who called it home faced the future with courage, their hearts warmed by the fires of determination. They knew that the road ahead would be long and arduous, but they were ready. Together, they would forge a new path, one that led to a brighter tomorrow. And as they stood on the brink of history, they took a moment to reflect on how far they had come and how much further they had to go. In the stillness of the night, beneath a canopy of stars, they found solace in the knowledge that they were part of something greater than themselves. Their dreams were woven into the fabric of the land, a tapestry of hope and promise that would endure long after they were gone. And so they rested, secure in the belief that the dawn would bring with it new opportunities and new challenges. With hearts full of resolve, they prepared to face whatever lay ahead, united in their quest for a better world.